Jags win 25-20 against the Bills in Buffalo. You know, same kind of deal with the Jags, multiple backbreaking turnovers at terrible times, bad drops. It was such a frustrating first half, especially, and then even into the second half at times where I'm just sitting there thinking, if I was a fan of this team, I would just be pulling my hair out. But I still think over the course of this game, we got a really good look at what the best version of this Jaguars team can look like. And we can get to the offense in a second, but in my opinion, it actually starts with the way that the defense played in this game.
And this has been consistent. They've been doing this all season. We still somewhat of a concern. It's like, okay, what is the pass rush? Who's going to get after the passer? Holy crap, you can't run on this team. They are stout. And it's like, I mean, this is like John Henderson era stout against the run defense right now. They are, I believe, top 5, 4th in rushing success rate on early downs. I was going into when I started these stats early in the Sunday night show. So hopefully that they're not get updated after that, but 6 overall and just success rate right there. And when you're pairing that with an offense that can have both explosive drives, but also just meticulous drives.
Just 29 first downs today.
And that's impossible to compete against. This Bills team was running the ball well. This is why I was excited about this Bills team.
They were 6th in rushing success rate coming into the game today. It was like 43%. They had a 20% rushing success rate today. It's half of their season average.
They only had two successful runs on the entire day. That's hard. But it's what I will compliment the Bills real quick. The Bills offense is that this is why it's awesome to have a guy like Josh Allen. Even if we can't run the ball, just go, Josh. It's like good for better, for worse. It's like you're going to keep us in the games or get us back in the games because that's what these elite guys can do. But through the spine, Fulakasi, who they signed last year, like now he's healthy, fully healthy, and just been playing and just been extremely stout against the run. Watching him against the Falcons, he was pushing Drew Dahlman back like 5 yards at times. And then Tyson Campbell is playing at an extremely high level right now, week in, week out. Also, what's his name? Oh, Andre Cisco. Andre Cisco is playing fantastic football right now. So all these guys along the spine are playing well. They have a couple, Defoe at the linebacker position. He's run first as well. So they're getting after the run. They're making you go into these third downs, getting third down after third down after third down. Josh Allen can take care of that, but they're making you be meticulous against them. Felt like that the only way the Bills kind of were getting after him was these big explosive plays that they can get to. But when you're pairing that with how their offense is playing and how they can have these long drives, even if they make mistakes at the end, it's just that you don't get a lot of chances. The Bills didn't have a lot of plays. So if you don't score, you don't keep up with their offense, this is what happens to you.
They were 7 of 10 on third down in the second half. And it's tough to live that way. That's always going to come back to earth. But I thought that Trevor made some really impressive plays in high leverage moments in the second half. Obviously, the dot to Ridley to kind of close out the game is the most notable one. But a couple different high leverage plays on third down. And when I'm talking about the best version of this team, it's their ability to stop the run and doing it out of nickel today. Their base run defense had been so good, and it was so good against Atlanta, but doing it with lighter personnel today against the Bills team that had been really running the ball on teams, I think that was pretty impressive. And then I think some of the pressure stuff was really notable on defense. Josh Allen was 6 of 14 for 39 yards when blitzed today, according to True Media. And you could see that. They were throwing some funky pressures at him because he did such a great job against Miami of understanding where the pressure was coming from and just replacing it really quickly. And I thought the Jags did a really good job of overloading a side and then dropping out behind it to the other side. And some of the funky looks, they really struggle with those today. That combination on defense with Tyson Campbell playing extremely well in one-on-one situations outside of the touchdown to Diggs. But for the most part in that game, and he's an elite player. But I thought he's had some really nice stretches during the season so far. And then on offense, that formula that we're talking about is Lawrence making high leverage plays, the one-on-one opportunities that Ridley can take advantage of on the outside that we talked about all offseason. This was the game you really saw it start to come to light. And then the explosive runs. Their running game's ability to be explosive and have Travis Etienne rip off those 20, 25-yard gains that we saw a couple different times today. So while still not all the way there, while still exhibiting some of those issues and concerns in terms of turnovers and some really bad mistakes in key times, I still thought that we saw a fuller version of that Jaguars team that is a possibility for me over the course of the season.
And I like this Jags team going into season, but that was the thing. I was like, okay, how's the defense going to play? They're playing a tougher schedule. How they go toe to toe with the big boys now when they're playing these elite heavyweights because they have a first place schedule, and how this defense is playing, legitimately top 10, and again going against some decent units too. I mean, they played tough against the Chiefs. And also like how they played against the Falcons last week, I watched as well. But they kept, even when the offenses were struggling, they were keeping them in games. Some stuff happened in some of the games, like the Texans and stuff like that. But now with this offense, what we know their peaks can be, like you're saying, what they can play this way, like just even Trevor hitting Travis Etienne on checkdowns, because that's what the Bills were getting to with last week. Push, push, push. All the linebackers are pushing back. So Trevor's looking, checks it down, and Etienne's so explosive that he's getting these explosive plays just on little checkdowns. And it's kind of cool to see that element coming into the offense, the explosive plays, the run game, like you're saying, and it's all kind of coming together. So like this team, if they have this defense that I think is going to be sticky with how they're playing, with this offense that I think is just only going to be ascending, hopefully the offensive line gets figured out a little bit because there's some internal stuff. But man, I mean, I think this is a real good team. I really do. I think they're just going to be ascending throughout the year.
The Jags, unfortunately, I'm not saying they're headed in the wrong direction, but there's reason to think that there's going to be a step back with some of the injuries that they've endured. Now Trey White is done. We saw Kaiir Elam struggle with Calvin Ridley in some of those one-on-one situations today. And now to lose Matt Milano reportedly for the season. He has a broken leg and a serious knee injury. He was playing at a ridiculous level. Like he was an all-pro level player last year. And he was playing even better over the first month of the season than he did last season. To lose him in the middle, and they popped between linebackers. They went to Dodson originally. They weren't sure who was going to replace Tremaine Edmonds. That they were trying to figure out the answer at one linebacker spot coming into the season. Now having to replace Milano with the guys already on the roster and what he means to that defense, that's a really tough ask. And again, we saw what this team could do when everything was kind of firing on all cylinders last week against Miami. And now being without two of those long-time, reliable, kind of star-level pieces on defense, it's a huge blow to the heights that this team could potentially reach.
Yeah, like the Bills offense, I'm not worried about in the weirdest
they're
way.
Going to be just fine.
Just fine. But the defense is just because of those injuries and what Matt Milano does on a snap to snap basis. And what he does is everything. He lines guys up, he plays the run, he plays the pass, he's a blitzer. He's truly one of the best off-ball players in the game at any position. He's fantastic. So that is just, he's the heartbeat. It really stinks. And when you have him gone, and then also when you see like, I like that you brought up Kaiir Elam, because you really felt Trey White not being there. This is why having a true dude, and we talk about this, having that true ace in the passing game. Okay, now you have Calvin Ridley taking advantage of that. I mean, it was like as that fourth quarter, or as that second half went along, he just started getting peppered. Third down, Calvin Ridley. Third down, Calvin Ridley. Just solo routes, outs, comebacks, and then the slot fade. And those are all just man beaters. So that's why just having this next step with this offense is, again, like why you feel good about the Jags, but just why you get scared with the Bills. Because we talk about when you're playing these elite teams and now all of a sudden you can't go into man at times, or you can't blitz. That's kind of scary.